You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
This is Ashley Winch in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and you're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Wednesday, October 16th, episode 3542. Good morning, Horse World.
Hello, Horse World. It's Wednesday, the day you start daydreaming of a weekend with your horses. We'll help you get there with more silly horse talk on Horses in the Morning.
Today, we're diving back into our archives for a truly heartwarming tale. Join us as we revisit an episode from October 2020 where Jamie and Glenn were joined by the incredible Tim Floyd, author of Baby Haynes, a true story about adoption and unconditional love. Imagine being a 1-month-old racehorse foal suddenly orphaned after your mother succumbs to colic. That's the reality Baby Haynes faced. Desperate for survival, he needed a surrogate mother to provide the nourishment he so desperately needed. Through a stroke of fate, a neighboring mare who had recently lost her own foal stepped in to fill the void. A delicate grafting process united these two unlikely companions, forging an unbreakable bond between Mother Mare and the tiny colt. In this episode, Baby Haynes narrates his extraordinary journey. From the trauma of losing his birth mother to the joy of finding a new family, he shares his experiences with remarkable candor. Discover how he adapted to his new surroundings, overcame challenges, and blossomed into a beautiful yearling. And of course, no Wednesday episode is complete without our signature lists and weird news. But first, let's hear from our sponsors.
Daily Dose Equine Horse Feeds has 4 different formulas that we're going to chat about very briefly today. First one on the list balances the needs of horses who need calories, but they also need a little bit of focus. What's that one called?
Called Mass No Sass.
They also have a formula that's going to balance the needs of a horse that needs a lot of energy because he is a high-performance competitor. What's that one?
That one is called Freestyle Performance or Trail Mix.
Dun, 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 because yes, trail horses can be high-performance animals. And for senior horses or horses who have dental issues,
that one's called Senior.
Tough to remember. And for those who want a top-quality, non-GMO feed, which is what all of Daily Dose Equine's feeds are, but they also have a really serious budget that they need to stick to. What do you have for them?
We call that product Sweet and Safe.
And fall is technically here, and that means it's time to shop for blankets. Luckily, our sponsor, State Line Tack, is having a pre-season blanket sale with savings of up to 55% off of all the brands you know and love. Be sure to go to statelinetack.com to get your savings on your blankets. Now, let's get on with the show.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I am here. I'm going to do the best I can again today to get through the entire show. Thank you for all your notes saying I didn't sound too terrible on Monday. There was big news, and we had a Horse Radio Network exclusive yesterday.
Ooh, please do tell me.
Well, remember...
Breaking news!
Breaking news. Robbie Roberts of the World Equestrian Center. We've had him on the show several times. He's the guy who runs the place, and that's the new one that's going to be opening up here in a couple of months in Ocala. He was on the Plaidcast. It's going to be released, a special episode going to be released today. So you can look for Plaidcast on our app or any of your podcast players. And it was just him talking about what's coming up. They announced, get this, they're opening in January officially. Now, I don't know if the hotel is going to be done, but the arenas are done and the shows are going to go on. With a winter spectacular featuring, are you ready, $9 million in prize money.
I'm sorry. What funnel? Like, in the movie, in the show where the guy shoots the gun and like the oil comes out of the ground.
Yes. Beverly Hillbillies.
Black Gold, Texas Tea, the Beverly Hillbillies. What episode of the Beverly Hillbillies did Robbie Roberts stumble upon? Because like, I feel like he shot a hole in the ground and money came out. Like, it sounds amazing.
Well, about a quarter of the trucks on the road in America are owned by him. So that tells you something. It'll be a 12-week winter hunter jumper horse show circuit, which will run through January 6th through March the 28th. Many classes in the $100,000 to $300,000 range. Now, there's complicated rules. We've talked about this a little bit with him when he was on. HITS is also here. That's the big jumper shows that happen in Ocala over the summer. It's been the ones that have been here for 30 years. They are literally 5 miles from the World Equestrian Center. There are mileage rules for having sanctioned shows that count toward points for the USEF and stuff. And they're too close. So that means that the World Equestrian Center was not going to be approved. So he found a way around that, as we knew he would, and he partnered with the National Snaffle Bit Association. Now, that's usually a Western thing, right?
It's a Western thing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he partnered with them and said, hey, guys, you're also with the USEF. If we run these shows through you, it won't be a mileage restriction. So that all the National Snaffle Bit Association did was add a ton of English jumping and hunter classes under their purview, and that's how they're getting away with doing the shows.
I tell you what, I'm never showing in the Snaffle Bit shows again if they gonna have them English riders up there with them little postage stamps on the back of their
paying
horses.
$9 million in prize money.
I mean, not even a dang, shank bit on them. I can't even believe that somebody would let them foofy girls with them weird clothes come on into our shows. I'm gonna have to tell you.
Do you remember when we asked him that question and his answer was, his answer was to us, the guy running this said, if we throw enough money at it, people will come. And I think he's right. I think people are going to come for $9 million in prize money.
I ain't bringing my horse down there. I'll tell you what. I am looking at all them girls in them tight pants.
I get to go over there and hang out and watch shows. And it's 3 miles from my house. So it's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. It's all about you, Glenn.
It is. It is today. What is on the show today?
We are going to talk to Tim Floyd, author of Baby Haynes, a true story about adoption and unconditional love. And plus, we got a couple lists, and it wouldn't be Wednesday without some weird news. And even Glenn submitted a weird news to me. So it's going to be great.
And it was Florida, too. So there.
It had to be, obviously.
All right, let's do some Daily Winnies. I got some birthdays.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to auditors Brenna Starch, Ashley Mitchell, and Elizabeth Wade. All of you, I hope you have a very happy birthday in this year of 2020.
By the way, I want to say that I said it was the post-apocalyptic Norman, not for any reason other than we had an ice storm.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Oh, God. Okay, we'll talk
about that.
It's amazing, and now it's just pouring rain. I would like to give my Daily Winnie to one of our listeners who, remember I told you on Monday that one of our auditors had adopted a horse, and I didn't even know she was an auditor,
Anna,
she came over. Yeah, Anna adopted a horse. And somebody had just asked me a couple weeks ago, has any of your listeners ever adopted any of these horses from Horse and Hound? And I was like, no, not one of these jerks has come through and given a home to one of these thoroughbreds. Well, it turns out that, that we had Anna who came through. And I forgot to mention before that, actually, I took 2 horses at the same time home. I'm looking for the page right now. I took 2 of the horses home, Jem and Nick. And Jem was the one that Anna adopted, really like a 15-hand little, I don't know, he didn't look like a thoroughbred. And it was very strange. So I've got to tell you, this daily part of my Daily Winnie goes out to Mary and Mary, who came for the clinic. They said, that is not a thoroughbred. And I said, it came from Horse and Hound. It has to be a thoroughbred. What are you talking about? They're like, it's not a thoroughbred. We're going to DNA test it. So they DNA tested it. And guess what Jim is?
Quarter horse.
He is a thoroughbred Andalusian cross.
What?
His genetic markers. And I called the place and I was like, So the story with Jim was they sent him to the track. Like they got him started. They sent him to the track. They got him in training.
He kept
and then
prancing down out of the gate and wouldn't do anything like run.
Well, they went to tattoo him and they took the papers and they looked at the papers and they looked at the horse and they're like, this is not the same horse. Because they identified them with the whorls and everything, you know, and they were like, this is not the same horse. And the owner was like, what? Completely had spent thousands, you know, getting him started and sent him to the rescue with the name of Jim. He's just Jim. Well, I called the place that did the DNA test. This is up in Texas A&M. And I said, I got a horse here that came out with the markers of, he came out with thoroughbred, Andalusian, and then like thoroughbred, quarter horse or Arab, like one of these similar genetic markers. And she's like, yeah, there's no way that that's a thoroughbred because you can't have the Andalusians completely different like line of genetic markers. And she's like, I do believe that somebody got together with the teaser.
Did they switch horses then, or do you think that this horse wasn't really the papered horse?
Well, he was not the papered horse, so they don't know. They couldn't figure out which horse it was because it was all the time had passed, and he's a bay with a star.
Yeah, right, like every other.
I mean, like every other one. So they just screwed up somehow. Anyway, so Mary said we have to DNA test him, and his DNA test results came back Andalusian thoroughbred, and then. At that time, Anna is driving down to see this thoroughbred. So I call her and I'm like, hi, just thought you should know that he's actually not all thoroughbred. He's actually thoroughbred Andalusian. She was like, oh, that's awesome. Okay, cool. So tell me. So she came. And then the other horse that I have, Nick, his name is in the nick of time, Brendan Nellum's adopted. So he's here for training until he gets a ride out to California. Now he's loving being double blanketed right now, sitting in a stall with the pouring down rain and freezing ice. But nevertheless, he is here and he is going to our listener, Brenda. So congrats, Brenda.
Yay. Well, you know, and I know that we've recently had a couple of our listeners have adopted horses from new vocations from your show.
Awesome.
Yeah. So look at us finding homes for horses around the world.
Use your power for good, Glenn.
Okay, so yesterday I see one of my Facebook friends, who I don't even know if she's friends with you, but she's from Oklahoma, and she posted pictures of the trees all bent over and ice everywhere and inches of ice, and it's a nightmare, and she was without power. And then I sent you a text. I said, hey, how you doing out there? So a little storm yesterday, huh?
Oh my gosh. And again, like everything, since I've moved to Oklahoma, when something happens, people go, this never happens. We never get this many tornadoes in the spring. We never have it this much rain. It's never this cold. And they're like, it's never an ice storm in October. That would never happen. Well, we are all about breaking records here, Glenn. And so now we had an ice storm, and it's still an ice storm, and everything is broken. All the trees are snapped all over the place. It's so
Your
sad.
Your pictures were incredible. I mean, ice is pretty, except when it's at your farm breaking everything.
Breaking everything, yes. And it's really fun is when the ice is on the barn roof and your horses are in the barn, and then the ice slides down the barn roof. Oh, that's fun. They love that. Yeah. Anyway, it was it's pretty apocalyptic out there. It's really strange. So then you guys know I've had a lot of house guests for the past 6-7 weeks, between my mom coming and Abby's here and my dad and his wife and then my brother and then the Marys came and then we had somebody else one of Abby's friends came. And so finally Chad and I had one night. It was just the two of us and Lucas. Abby's out of town. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. It's just us. Well, that was one night because now his family came over and our neighbors came over last night because they don't have any power. So now
you build a damn big house.
2 more people, 3 more children, and 2 more dogs. So this is fun.
It's good you build a big house.
Yeah, it's not that big.
I actually worked. We used to have bad ice storms when we lived in Kentucky, and I was with the Red Cross then. And I actually worked at a shelter. They had a shelter open for days because of the ice storm. Power was out for so long. And I'm sure they might have shelters open in Oklahoma right now because you have, hundreds of thousands without power.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
And the trees, I mean, your pictures that you showed of Oklahoma City, Just every tree on the street is over. I mean, it's crazy.
And the survivor tree down at the Oklahoma City Monument lost a big branch. It was they were showing that on the news. I started crying. It's really tough around here for sure. Also just the entire just it's just awful. Just all
Are
the
they
trees
good at
and
doing
stuff.
the cindering and stuff? Or
I don't know, Glenn. When have I ever been in a nice storm in Oklahoma?
I mean,
I'll
have they
tell
done
you
the
what.
roads? Anything? Salt?
They're not going to come to my house and help me with the months of tree cleanup that I'm going to have here. And also, I would like to say that I knew all these people were coming over last night, and I was like, I need to get some more food. So I went to Walmart, and even the Walmart was closed, Glenn.
Oh,
They
wow.
had no
That
power
was
at
bad.
Walmart. It was, it's I went to 3 grocery stores and no traffic lights. So like I was having to do a 4-way stop, the whole thing. Oh, yeah, it was awful.
Well, if you're in Jamie's situation where winter has hit, by the way, I don't want to rub it in, but used to rub it in. So we had record temperatures yesterday in the 90s. It was 107 on my back porch yesterday.
Oh my God. Well, that sucks too.
That does suck. We're ready for cooler weather to set in. Apparently next week we're going to be in the 80s. So,
Ooh.
yeah. Hey, State Line Tack, if you go there right now and you're in Jamie's situation where things are getting cold and you're going to need some blankets, and probably the ice ripped half of them. So head on over there right now. If you go to the homepage, they have what's called their State Line Tack Blanket Finder. And you scroll down, go to that page and scroll down. You're going to see they have several categories, easy on blankets and hard on blankets. And you put in there what your temperatures usually are, whether you want a lightweight or a medium, and you hit shop and it just brings up the blankets that fit the criteria that you pick. I don't know if you noticed, but in the auditor room, we had a couple of people posting, what blanket do I get? It's a very confusing thing because you never quite know what blanket to get. Do I get the hood? Do I not get the hood? All of that stuff. But they do have this finder that kind of makes it easy to go through and figure it out. I know that Rambo and Rhino also have an app that will help you do that. And of course, State Line Tack carries those blankets as well. But if you need an easy way to try and figure out which blanket that your horse is going to need, definitely head on over to State Line Tack right now. And they still have the 30% offer going at the top of the page.
And they have dog blankets too. Your puppies,
They do.
like little Tank and little Bella would just die.
We have a winter blanket for our greyhound, but I don't know that we've ever used it in Florida. So
Yeah, you should be fine.
I think we're okay there.
107 yesterday, Glenn.
Speaking of which, I'll give a quick report, and then I want to go to the page that you talked about. A quick report on Pickles is doing very well. That is our new greyhound if you missed Monday's show. And if you missed Monday's show, my voice is a byproduct of whatever issues I'm having, and so I'm doing the best I can to talk. But Pickles is doing great. She gets her stitches out tomorrow from getting fixed, and we'll get to see her run for the first time. And let me tell you, she's ready. She has got some pent-up energy in there in that little greyhound body, and I can't wait to see her run this weekend. It's going to be so much fun to see her go. So we both go to the doctor tomorrow. Jennifer has to bring the dog to the doctor, and Henna has to bring me to the doctor, because on these pain pills, I can't drive. So that's all fun stuff for tomorrow. Hopefully we get answers, and I'll be able to talk again. But in the meantime, you had me go to an online auction page.
I did. And of course, I didn't go to this online auction page either. Let's see, what was it? Sport.
What am I? I'm on the page, and it's internethorseauctions.com or sporthorseauctions.com.
Internethorseauctions.com. This is what Wendy and I were talking about all day on.
I heard that. I saw many people report in that they were shopping because of you guys.
Yes, it's weird. And so I was just, there's a lot of really nice horses on here, and the prices are really low right now. And I think that there might be some deals. Definitely do your research. Buyer beware. This is a horse auction that is online. What could possibly go wrong?
Right.
So I'm looking through it with Chad, my dear, sweet angel of a husband.
Oh, no.
And we start looking at one or two, and we were like legitimately like coming across like that's not really
in the market for one, by the way. I can't. I
don't have my own like personal. I have Zeus as a riding horse, but he's going through some stuff right now that we haven't diagnosed, and I'm just trail riding him.
Now, let me tell
basically.
new listeners, Zeus has been going through stuff that is undiagnosed that she got him.
Mentally, yes.
Mentally.
Physically, I think he's got some issues in his back, and so I'm just trying
Yeah,
to
we
save
had a
up
foot
some
problem
money.
for a while, too, didn't he? He was
They
laid
did
up.
a tendon,
Yeah.
yeah. And so he's been laid up for a year and a half from that, and I brought him back, and he doesn't want to actually trot. So I don't have a horse of my own. Everything is just, I have the 2 yearlings, which, it's going to be 2 more years before I can even sit on them. And then everything else is a horse in training. So I'm not against getting another horse, but I definitely am busy enough to where I don't need another horse. And then Chad and I were sitting there, and we were looking, just at let me give him up some names of horses we were looking at. Just any, like, either any rideable gelding, but it is hard to find a rideable gelding that on this auction that aren't jumping, 4.5 feet and all this, until I came across this horse named Ollie. He's a 2011 bay gelding in North Carolina. And I was looking at him and I'm like, oh, he's cute. And the video is he's, walk, trotting, and cantering. That's about it. And he's like, oh, you could get one of those from Horse and Hound. I was like, yeah, but this one's like actually about 8 months ahead, as far as being able to just walk, trot, canter on a loose rein. So he was like in training, and he was the trainer's project horse. And then she got busy. And so he's been out in a field for a very long time. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And so I was like, his bid is like $900. I'm like, I can bid. And he has a vet report on there. He's been vet checked. And so I bid 900, and Chad's like, oh my God, what are you doing? It's in North Carolina.
He's the plainest brown horse I've ever seen.
Just the plainest brown horse you could possibly see.
He's older, though. He's 9, so.
Yeah, he's 9, so he's kind of a little more seasoned, I guess, and he never raced, and so he didn't see all, I have mixed emotions on that. I sometimes prefer that they've raced because then they've seen a lot, but I don't know his story. Anyway, I bid on him, and Chad's like $900. Okay, that's enough. Well, apparently, at some point,
Well, I'm seeing the bid is currently at $1,300.
I don't remember doing that, Glenn.
Were you drinking last night?
It was a couple nights ago. I believe it was Saturday night.
Then she was drinking.
No, this was the Tuesday night that we had all to ourselves. Maybe it was Monday night. Anyway, point is, yes, I was drinking. And yes, I am the current high bidder. And yes, the last time Chad and I had talked, it was $900. And at some point, I guess when I was I do remember it. So I was bidding, and I was like, oh, thank you for your bid. You're not the high bidder. And then I just got competitive. It's like somebody put a higher reserve bid, like they bid $12.50, and I was like, I gotta beat that. But I didn't know what the bid was, so I just kept upping it $50. And like I bid probably 6 times, and then they were like, "You're the high bidder," and I was like, "Yes!" No. What did I do? Because I got competitive. Glenn, I'll bid against
You
myself.
and I could never go to an auction together. We're both gamblers. It's just... It's good we don't live in Vegas, you and I. We'd be at the blackjack table and we'd be broke and in jail.
This is not a craft on eBay that I'm competitively bidding on, Glenn. It's a horse.
Which is going to cost another $1,000 to ship. So
minimum, it'll be $1,500 to ship it. So, you notice I'm talking quietly. So, keep in mind, I have to at some point. I told Chad, I'm like, somebody's got the high bid on him, and he's like, oh, you didn't need that anyway.
Just to make a comment on the horse. It is a plain brown horse. There's nothing stunning or different about this horse.
No,
He's
there's
a
just
plain
no
brown
reason.
horse.
There's zero reason that I would need this horse.
It's not an Andalusian. It's not a, Trakehner. It's
he's
just
17 hands. That's way too
brown
big for me.
horse. Oh, I didn't even notice he was 17 hands.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There's no reason that I would need to bid on this horse.
Well, the girl sitting on him must be tall because she didn't look too small for him. So she must be my height.
Yeah, I just bought Abby a horse. Fantastic. So here's the thing. I have to break it to my husband.
When's the auction end?
Tonight.
Oh, there'll be somebody outbid you at the last minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
One of the listeners that lives in, where is this, in Georgia, North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Yeah, anywhere in the Southeast, if you need a plain brown horse, go outbid Jamie right now, please.
You know what? I actually thought I got outbid, and so I thought I was looking at the bid. It's in the wrong direction, from outbidding to like when I got the bid, and I saw the top bid, and I actually was like, oh. I was kind of disappointed when I thought I got outbid. So it told me that I actually do want the horse. I kind of.
You're the one that bid against yourself at auctions. So
I know. And I was like, I'm going to get this damn bid up there till when? I'm like, I'm going to show.
All right, everybody, go to internethorseauctions.com. Go to October if you live in the Southeast.
And go look at Ollie.
And go
Don't bid on him.
bid $13.50 on Ollie and save Jamie's
mine.
marriage. And
He's
in the meantime,
here's the thing. I had to tell Chad. So I'll give you the quick story on that. So last night we have our neighbors over who are out of power. We have Chad and his brother and his family. And so there's a lot of drinking that's happening, like between all the men, especially. And so I'm walking down the stairs and I was like, hey, Chad. And he's like in the kitchen, like his third scotch, in the kitchen with the boy. And I was like, just want to let you know, remember that horse Ollie that I was bidding on that I didn't get the bid on? And he was like, yeah. And I go, I'm the current high bidder. Bye. And somebody was like, that was genius. 3 drinks.
Everybody can learn from you. Need to teach classes on handling those situations. You really do.
I just want to let you know I'm the current high bidder. Okay, I'm going to go back.
All right, we have to get to our guest. So let's hear from Daily Dose Equine, which my pony eats and is doing very well on. And then we're going to come back with Tim Floyd, and we're going to talk a little bit more about racehorses. One that was orphaned and found a mommy. So and is now racing, by the way. So we're going to talk about that.
In 2006, Daily Dose Equine was founded by Janet Geyer when she was searching for better feed options for her own horses and couldn't find them. Today, Daily Dose Equine's 7 different feed and forage balance formulas provide all types of horses with the quality nutrients they need, but none of the fillers or additives they don't. Daily Dose is made with non-GMO ingredients. You won't find any wheat middlings or distillers grains in Daily Dose Equine formulas. Plus, feeds are flame roasted to improve digestibility, lower NSCs, and eliminate mold, bacteria, and other contaminants. You can learn more about Daily Dose Equine at dailydoseequine.com. And Daily Dose Equine feeds and forage balancers are available nationwide through Chewy.com.
And we just ordered our next bag for Scooter through Chewy. And Scooter's on the one that helps with them not gain too much weight. And I'll tell you what, this is the first year that Jennifer hasn't yelled at me for my pony being too fat.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I would like to say I decreased his amount of treats, but I haven't. So I'm attributing it to Daily Dose. So, no.
Or maybe your wife's just not yelling at you because,
sick.
You're like a cancer patient.
Yeah. Maybe. No, that would never stop her. What are you talking about? You know the way it is with married couples. Jeez. Where are you living?
We find your weakness and we exploit it.
Exactly. So let's talk to Tim Floyd, who's an author. We're getting him on the line. Hopefully right now. He's not stuck in an ice storm.
Good morning.
Hi, Tim. It's Glenn and Jamie from Horses in the Morning, and you're on the air.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, it's good to have you on. Tim, you have an interesting book, but you also have had an interesting life. You really grew up in the racing business, didn't you? Your family was in racing.
I did, yeah. My father's always played with horses as more of a hobby. We're doing it at a little larger scale now, but yeah, I've been around them my whole life.
And where in the country?
We are in the state of Washington, eastern Washington. His farm was more in the middle of the state, and I'm close to the Idaho border in Spokane, Washington.
What tracks are up there?
Well, the only one left, major tracks, is Emerald Downs, which is in Auburn, Washington, and it's on the other side of the state. We used to have a track in Spokane, which was the oldest track west of the Mississippi, named Playfair, and it unfortunately was closed down here a while back.
I think you're the first race person we've ever had that said they lived in Washington. I was really expecting to say New York, Virginia, Florida, Kentucky. So,
yeah.
That's what I was expecting. So you'd breed, I assume, as part of your operation.
Yes, we do. We have 2 stallions that are standing here.
And where did Baby Haynes come into the picture?
Wait, I want to know who the 2 stallions are.
Okay.
Yeah. So our 2 stallions, one is a son of Giant's Causeway named Pontiff, and his dam is Preach, who's probably the most influential dam in the history of the sport, in my opinion, because she's the grandmother of Tappet.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're expecting big things out of his first 2 crops. We've got his first runners will be 2-year-olds next year, and they really look the part. So we're pretty excited.
Cool.
And Giant's Causeway, one of his sons is a leading freshman sire in the country right now, and not this time. And so his sons are doing very well. And our second sire, who is now 20 years old, his name is Demon Warlock. He is a son of Demons Begone.
Wait a minute, Demon Warlock?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense.
That's an intense name.
Well, so his sire's name is Demons Begone, who was the favorite in the 87 Kentucky Derby that Ali Sheba won. And his mother, his dam is Witchery. And so Demon Warlock was actually a really perfect name that they
lineage wise. Yeah. But is he his name, or is he the opposite?
He's exactly the opposite, and everybody wants his off-the-track horses because they are the sweetest horses you'll ever see.
Oh, that's good.
See?
He broke our rule. Our rule generally is horses match their names. But
yep, he is not. He is. You can put a 3-year-old on his back, and they'd be happy.
Oh, that's cool.
Awesome.
So you wrote this book, and the name of the book is Baby Haynes, a true story about adoption and unconditional love. Was this one of your babies?
Yes, and so we had a mare that was at a West Side farm that was she foaled out and was being bred back, and when the foal was a month old, she had a colic episode, and we lost the mare. And it had just so happened that a friend of mine, about 5 minutes from my farm, had a paint mare that had just lost a foal, and so we shipped our baby across the state. It took us about 5 hours to get him home. And we did the grafting process. They brought her mare over, and they took to each other immediately, and it was pretty cool.
Because that doesn't always happen, does it? They take to each other immediately.
It doesn't.
No.
Nope, it's about a 50-50 deal. I mean, I had a friend that had one that it did not work, and they had to bottle feed it, and so it was great. I mean, it's always better if they learn from a horse how to be a horse.
So were these 2 together for 6 months then? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was somewhere between 5 and 6 months is typically when we wean. And then she got picked up, and she lives about 5 minutes from us.
And now she's racing, or Baby Haynes is racing, right?
Yeah, he ran a few times here as a 2-year-old. He showed a ton of ability. His first start was a maiden special weight, 11-horse field. He broke 10th. He was a little sluggish out of the gate. He rushed up into the turn, had to check real badly behind a wall of horses, and then re-rallied to run 3rd in his debut. And so we knew we got a nice horse. And physically, and I don't know if it's the paint mare milk or what, but he does not look like a 2-year-old. He looks like a 4-year-old older horse. He's just ginormous. And so we've only ran him a couple times as a 2-year-old. His second start was the Gottstein Futurity, which is the biggest race of the year for 2-year-olds at Emerald Downs. And he stretched out to 1 mile and a 16th. And once again, he was checked 2 or 3 times during the race, and he ran 5th in a 10-horse field with a very troubled trip. And now we're giving him a break and turning him out, letting him mature and be a nice 3-year-old.
Well, that's great. I mean, that is a cool story. And this book is a kid's book?
Yeah, I kind of wanted the story to be told from the mouth of the horse. And it's basically the baby telling everybody what he went through and the trials and the tribulations. And
just like Black Beauty, Glenn. Just like Black Beauty. The horse needs to take them.
Yeah, Tim hopes it sells like Black Beauty, too.
Yeah. No, but, I'm adopted myself. And so I know what it's like to, feel love from somebody that didn't create you. And he got that love from that mare right away. And so it's a book that, not only for people that love horses, because the photos inside are not just of him growing up, but it's of his lineage. And so you have really nice pictures of Secretariat in there and Haynesfield and, the family that he comes from. So, but for people that do have family with adopted children, it would be a great book for them to read to their kids, and it explains a lot.
Now, the punchline. Please tell us the official name of Baby Haynes, the race name.
Yeah, so when it came to me, I think it was 18 letters, and of course the Jockey Club, you're limited to 18 letters and spaces. And I don't know how it came to me, but his race name is My Udder Mama's a Paint, and udder is spelled UDDER.
I love that.
My goodness.
Yeah, and it was kind of a tongue twister for the track announcer
I
at
bet.
the time, but I think they got it figured out by now. But yeah, we still call him Baby Haynes, but because that was his nickname growing up. But yeah, his racing name is My Udder Mama's a Paint.
Now, the $1 million question is if this horse, are you so attached to him now that you've written a book about him and you feel like you know him and you raised him? Will you ever let him be sold, or is he yours for life?
Well, that's a good
It's a
question.
business.
I actually just hauled him home yesterday for his turnout. He'll be here for 3 months. And, at this point, there's no intention of ever running him in a claiming race because he's shown too much ability with the top horses at the track. We even thought of possibly shipping him down to Del Mar on the Ship and Win program and possibly running him, but he's just such a big 2-year-old. We thought that the right thing to do was to let him grow even more and mature and strengthen.
Needs a few more months to grow into his huge body.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's almost 17 hands.
I guess money talks. If somebody offered you, $10 million for him, you'd be the day two idiots met. One offered it and one said no.
Yeah. No, hopefully he'll be a forever horse for us. Hopefully have a great career. And when that comes to an end, we'll bring him home.
Well, this story is so cool, and we needed this story this year. We need more of these stories this year. This book would also make a great gift for Christmas, for kids and Christmas.
Oh,
it'd be perfect.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We've been lucky enough, due to COVID, my plan was to get this book into all the track's gift shops.
Oh,
And of course, nobody's going to the gift shops right now.
Right.
And so we've been lucky enough to have some national publications like the Pollock Report, and the LA Times carried the story. The Seattle Times had it on the front page of their sports section. Our spokesman, our local. So, people are finding out about it. They're starting to order it and stuff. But yeah, it's kind of tough times to do anything about anything right now. So it is good to have a feel-good story right now.
It definitely is. And I'm going to put a link to it, to your store at Book Baby. I'll put a link to it in our show notes. So if check the show notes on this podcast, and you can go there and you can find it there. Also, My Udder Mama's a Paint has a Facebook page, right?
We have a Facebook page, Warlock Stables, which is the name of our farm. There's is a Facebook page, and I believe he's on there. I don't know if he has his own page. I know one of my partners may have started one for him.
They did, and I have it right here, and it's under My Udder Mama's a Paint, because nobody had ever taken that on Facebook before.
Okay.
Shocking.
So I'll put a link to that in the show notes too. He's a good looking horse too. And Warlock Stables. Do you get a lot of visitors at Halloween?
It's funny. We're actually out on some acreage out here, and our road's a dead end road, and we don't get trick or treaters out here actually. I
wonder why.
About 10 minutes away.
And then they see the sign name, the name of the farm, and they run. It's like.
Well, and I've had comments on how opposite our two stallions' names are. You have Demon Warlock on one side and Pontiff on the other side, which of course deals with
like
the
a church.
apple tree.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. Thank you, Tim, for joining us. We really appreciate it. And good luck with the book sales. As I said, the book, you can find it on Amazon too. It's Baby Haynes, A True Story About Adoption and Unconditional Love. Thanks, Tim.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Bye.
You bet.
So many cool people in the horse world. It really is. But
There is. And I love that he took that moment to tell the story of a baby horse from the baby's perspective and what a softie.
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. But what was that? Demon? What?
Demon Warlock.
Oh, that's a name. That's a name. So anyway, let's head over right now. We have lots more show coming up for you. I have some crappy lists because, I've had lists build up for a month now because I haven't been doing any crappy lists. You have some weird news. But first, we have to hear from our good friend, Dr. Busby, with the Doggy Health Minute.
Hi, this is Dr. Julie Busby with your Dog Health Minute. Hi, this is Dr. Julie Busby with this week's Dog Health Minute. We're going to talk about a topic today near and dear to my heart, and that is canine traction. It may seem trivial, but it's not. I remember being so discouraged when I told a colleague of mine who's a wonderful veterinarian and whom I deeply respect that I thought confidence was so important to a dog's quality of life. And she kind of scoffed and said, I don't care about my patient's confidence, but I really think we should, because if you've ever seen a dog who's lost confidence in their home or on any hard surface floor for that matter, whether they be at the vet's office or at PetSmart, and they're on a slick floor, their head's down, they're trying to dig in their nails with their claws, their whole posture of their paws and their body, their ear set, their tail set. Everything's different. They just look withered, if you would. They just look pitiful. And it's because their natural traction mechanism has failed them. Dogs outside in the wild can dig in their nails like soccer cleats into grass or into dirt, and they get instant traction. But on hard surface floors like hardwood and tile and laminate, hard nails can't grip hard floors. And so that's why we've developed a product called Toe Grips. You can find them on our website, toegrips.com. Toe grips are non-slip nail grips for senior and special needs dogs that give them instant traction and confidence, because I think both of those things are really important, treating both the dog's mind and body in a holistic fashion. We offer a 10% discount with promo code HRN for Horses in the Morning listeners. And we also have on our website, toegrips.com, a whole host of free resources like blogs weekly on senior dog health and wellness tips, and also courses, how to trim your dog's nails, ebooks. And so I invite you to check out our website. I think as a veterinarian, it's really critical that we always think in terms of treating our patients and ourselves with kind of the whole mind-body experience and taking into account how much both of those impact quality of life. And that's why I'm proud to offer Toe Grips, non-slip dog nail grips that improve a dog's traction on hard surface floors, helping them through the non-slip material get a grip and walk and rise off of those floors and engage with their families again. Whereas before they may have been isolated to areas of the house that had better traction, like a dog bed or a throw rug. But now they can get back in the game, get back in life again, because they can walk without feeling fear. And they get back not only the ability to move around the home freely, but they also get back their confidence and get back their smile. Visit us at toegrips.com to learn more. And that's this week's Dog Health Minute.
Thank you to Dr. Busby. And of course, it's a 10% discount using code HRN if you go to drbusby.com. So in my laid up days, I was surfing around different places, and I came across the most popular baby names in 2020. This is human baby names. No. And I thought, what kind of weird names are we giving children today? And I had to bring this list. The only reason I'm bringing this list is because of one of the names on the boys list. So apparently you were a little ahead of your time, because Lucas is number 7 on the top names for boys in 2020.
I'm a trendsetter, Glenn. I'm an influencer. Okay.
You are. All right. So you want to hear some of the other names? So,
can I just make a guess, or maybe I'll ruin your punchline?
No, go ahead.
I guess. Okay. I've had 3 horses that have been adopted be named COVID.
Really?
Is there any kids being named COVID?
No, not yet.
Oh,
I'm
thank
sure there
God.
are, but God, that would be so mean. That'd be so mean. You're named after a deadly disease that caused the world to crash.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. So top 5 for boys. Lucas was number 7. Elijah's number 5. That's going back to a retro name. Aiden, Jackson. I think Jackson's been around a long time.
Jackson that was the number 1 when Lucas was born.
Was it?
Yeah, Aiden and Jackson, those are all still up there, yeah.
Noah is number 2. Talk about retro Bible name, right? And then number 1 shocked me. Liam.
Yeah, I know so many kids named Liam.
Oh, really? So when did that come back? I don't know.
Gosh, well, apparently 7 years ago at least, because there's always a Liam or 2 in Lucas's classes.
Wow. Well, let's see if he has any of these girl names in the top 5. These are the top names for 2020 girls. Ava. Emma is a name that, if it wasn't for Emma Watson, I don't think would have ever come back.
No. Do you know what? Emma had something to do with Jennifer Aniston. Emma something. Oh, that's it. In Friends, she named her baby Emma. And after she named her baby Emma in Friends, it took off and it's still in the top 10.
Because retro name. So the Emma's a retro name, right? Back long time. Riley is number 3. Now, Riley's one of those male-female names, right? I mean,
yeah,
it can be a Riley boy, Riley girl. 2 is Olivia.
Okay.
And
I know a lot of those.
Sophia is number 1. I was surprised. That one kind of surprised me.
I think I've said the Sofia Vergara kind of name, like that kind of brought Sophia back. It's always had something to do with celebrities.
Yes.
Liam is a Hemsworth. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like it's always something to do with, I don't see a lot of people naming their babies Apple, like Gwyneth and Chris did.
No.
But other
or
than that.
Basket or whatever that one was that,
Blanket.
Blanket.
Michael Jackson
there you
named
go.
his baby Blanket.
Blanket. Haven't seen a lot of blankets. It's not top on the list.
No.
The top.
That can't be his real name.
The
though.
bottom name this year, Karen. Nobody is going to be named Karen forever again.
Can I just tell you something that's so exciting to me about the whole Karen phenomenon?
Yeah.
Is that my father's wife is named Karen. And I'll be like, damn it, Karen. And it's just so funny to me. You know what, Karen? You should call for the manager. Clearly, you need some assistance.
And on Friday, we're going to have a couple of the winning stories for you from Horse Nation. Jamie's going to read one for me today. We're going to put them together with sound and everything like we do every year. Of course, Halloween's coming up this weekend. I think Halloween's not going to be as big a deal in a lot of places because they've canceled trick-or-treating in a lot of places. It's just going to be weird this year. But
we are trick-or-treating. I don't give a dang.
If nobody's there to even give you candy, you're trick-or-treating. But this year, are you getting dressed in a costume this year?
Yeah. When you have an only child, you dress up, or at least we do. So, I am going as Lucas is Thanos because he has the Thanos outfit and like this giant gauntlet that, he's going to carry that around all night long.
Or, no, Dad is going to carry that around all night long.
True. True. So I am again because let
me guess what you're going as.
Okay.
Carol Baskin from Tiger King.
Oh no, is that like the most popular?
It's number 7.
Oh wow. All
you got to do is find some cat print. What are you going at?
Right. I'm using the same outfit as last year because it costs like $40 and I am Captain Marvel yet again.
You look good in that though. You really did.
And I'm pretty sure Chad will be Captain Marvel. Thank you. I don't don bodysuits too often. But between that or my Katniss outfit, it had to be one of them. So we're going to stick with the Marvel theme. I have Thanos, I'm Captain Marvel, and then Chad is going to be, I don't know, Captain America. Who knows?
Well, the Stranger Things is still in on the list this year. The Demogorgon. I don't know if you ever saw Stranger Things, but the Demogorgon was this really ugly creature that had this like big flower popping out of his head that he would eat you with. That's number 12. 11 from Stranger Things. The girl 11, dressed like her. Alexander Hamilton from the play. So apparently that's popular.
I can see that.
Black Widow, of course. I think that's just true every year, right? Black Widow. But her movie has been pushed back. Oh,
it's devastating.
I know. I was so looking forward to that.
Between that and the SpongeBob movie, it really rearranged my summer. I had big plans.
Black Widow, or I did Black Widow. Number 8 on the list is Dr. Fauci.
Oh my God. People are so funny.
Number 7's Carol Baskin. Well, that's kind of an easy one. You just have to find some cat print clothes, right? And then you're Carol Baskin and a really obnoxious wig.
Hi, hello, all you gorgeous cats and kittens, or whatever she says.
You know what made the list this year? Schitt's Creek. David Rose from Schitt's Creek. Dressing
Love
up
it.
as David. That made the list. Catherine the Great, for some reason. I don't know where that came from. And then Moira Rose from Schitt's
Moira.
Creek. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Which means you have to have very tight, striped pants and the most obnoxious clothing you could ever find in a closet of somebody that's 85 years old.
Very fancy, though.
Yes.
Textiles.
God, every time she comes on the screen, I just have to laugh because the next outfit is just more funny than the past one. Number 2, Finn from Star Wars. Finn's outfit is popular. And then I don't get this at all unless it's become very popular. I haven't seen it yet, though. Netflix has a show out called Emily in Paris.
Yeah.
So dressing up as Emily in Paris is number 1.
Okay.
I don't know that. You watch
I've just
that?
seen the preview. I haven't watched it yet, but
it looked too squishy for me, so I'm out. It was too. I guess it was made by the same people, Sex and the City. So.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, let's talk about WinTech, and then we'll get into some weird news.
Are you going to be dressing up?
Where would
You
I
don't
go?
really- You don't do Halloween, though.
No,
It's not
I'm
your
a
thing.
Halloween guy, and nobody comes here. We have a gated community where everybody's farm has a gate. So trick or treating's not so popular in our neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah, we go to a neighborhood that's up the street because there's you may knock on the trailer 2 doors down? I don't think so.
That's about it when you live in the country. Now,
Why, by the way, side note, do people live in trailers in the tornado belt of Oklahoma? Why?
When we went down to pick up the dog, we went down by the coast of the Gulf, and there are so many old trailer parks right along the Gulf Coast. That's also Hurricane Central.
Hurricane.
Yeah.
You guys, I'm not disparaging anybody for living in a
trailer. I live in
basically
a double wide. It's a house, but
Yeah. But it's kind of converted. It's a house. It's nice. You seriously, if you live in a trailer in that path that comes through Oklahoma, which there are people all around me that live in trailers.
Tornadoes love trailer parks. They just always seem to be trailer parks.
It's a magnet. It's a magnet.
Yes. All right, let's talk about WinTech saddles.
Sorry. WinTech, yes. I actually have a WinTech and I use it almost every day, and it's like 25 years old. Hence, they live forever. WinTech has always made riding easy and comfortable. They combine world-leading innovations in high-tech materials and lightweight, weatherproof, and easy-care saddles. It's easy to see why WinTech is the world's #1 synthetic saddle brand. The comprehensive WinTech range offers not only cutting-edge designs, but new standards in fit, comfort, and performance benefits for both you and your horse. Brands new to the USA, WinTech's line of specialist conformation saddles wait, what? They do it for high-withered now horses?
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's a new range, yeah.
What's it called? I'm trying to read this commercial here. Brands new to the U.S. is WinTech's line of their specialist conformation saddles. That's cool. The new WinTech 2000 high wither all-purpose saddle is perfect for your high withered thoroughbreds. The new WinTech 2000 wide is a grippy saddle to suit your wide horse. Bless her heart,
Not the
Katie.
thoroughbred. Yes.
I'm having such a hard time with this quarter horse that's here. She's like sitting on a barrel.
Well,
and
there
you're
you
like,
go.
There you go. I need one of those. And the new WinTech Pro Wide Dressage is a grippy dressage saddle that suits the wide dressage horses. We all know some of those. WinTech is the official saddle sponsor of the United States Pony Club and American Riding Instructors Association. Every riding instructor in the world must have a barn full of WinTechs because they're grippy.
Well, and you can change the gullet. They fit all the horses. It's just so easy to use them on multiple horses.
Visit wintechsaddles.us to see the complete line of saddles or visit the nearest WinTech dealer. Again, wintechsaddles.us. And
it's all Jennifer rides in. I got to tell she's ridden in years. And in Florida, it's great because they don't mold. when you leave them outside. So, all leather products in Florida have to come in the house.
Yeah. In Georgia, mine would mold too.
Yeah, you just have to. I mean, so for us, it's absolutely perfect. She loves her Windex. She's had them for years. All right. I think it's time, isn't it?
It is. I think we should start with the one that you sent me, Glenn. And we're going to head to Florida for the first weird news. Remember, these are actual news stories that I found, and some of them are shared by y'all. Actually, not going to lie, y'all did not do a very good job sending me weird news. The only person who sent me weird news, Glenn. Proud of you, buddy.
Thank you.
And it's because
I had a lot of time sitting on the couch.
Yeah, I feel like we should got more. We're in Florida, and it's Haynes City, Florida, and there was a man that had a house with a lot of Joe Biden signs. Adam Burgess, a local homeowner, said, he said, this man came onto my property and took the Joe Biden signs that I had in my yard. Well, that man is 26-year-old James Blight, and he was charged in the end with grand theft auto and trespassing because James did not feel like stealing the Joe Biden signs was enough. What he did is then went and stole a bulldozer and came back to Adam Burgess's house and bulldozed his entire fence around his property and bulldozed the remaining Joe Biden signs. Thank you for sending me that, Glenn. And there's photos of the house with the bent down fence, and it looks like they have put more Joe Biden signs in the yard.
Do you think alcohol was involved?
How can you get so drunk that you're like, you know what? Me stealing them signs wasn't enough. I got to get me a bulldozer. I'm gonna find me a bulldozer. I'm gonna steal it, and I'm gonna drive it to that property. I'm gonna run over his fence just because.
I just think there's more to this story. They have a background, those two. I think they have to have a background. There's got to be more. Oh no, it's Florida. There really doesn't have to
Florida.
be more. No,
literally, there has to be nothing else. Hey, police allege.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Ready? Yeah, he went to a nearby construction site, stole a bulldozer, and then went back to his house. So it doesn't make like how at some point when you sober up enough to be like, like he was sober enough to find the guy's house again.
He was sober enough to drive the bulldozer. I wouldn't know how to drive a bulldozer. Yeah.
Apparently, somebody instead of waiting for police to arrive, the dude who owns the house hopped in his car and followed the man as he rode the bulldozer off the yard back into the street. And then he stopped traffic. The bulldozer guy just stopped traffic and started cussing everybody out. It makes no sense. I mean, it just kept getting. By the way, he was arrested and he was drunk during the incident.
Jack Daniels is cheap, isn't it? It's really cheap.
It can be. If you buy alcohol in a plastic bottle, it's cheap. Well, we're going to go from Florida to China. It is a weird story, but it is a nice story. And this sweet family had their dog on a road trip and went to a service station, and the whole family got out and went into the service station, came back, and they didn't ever let the dog out. And so they got in their car, and they drove home. And then I guess they have like it's a station wagon type thing. And they got home, and Doo-Doo, which is the name of the dog, Doo-Doo, was not there, was not in the car. And they're like, oh my God, Doo-Doo is not home. Mr. Q was traveling with the dog from Hangzhou to I need Andrew up here to translate all these Chinese words. My brother-in-law is here. He speaks Mandarin. So Doo-Doo was in Hangzhou with Mr. Q to visit relatives, and they stopped at the Tonglu service station to look after their child. They believed that the dog was in the car the whole time, but when they arrived home several hours later, Doo-Doo was gone. not in the car. And so they're like freaking out, but 40 miles. So they drove there the next day. They drove back to the service station, frantically looking for their dog. They can't find it. The dog is gone. They hoped that they put up signs. They hoped that somebody would survive, he would survive and find a good-hearted person to adopt him. Well, months later, a gaunt, stray, dirty dog turned up on their doorstep. Apparently, Dudu had returned, but was completely unrecognizable. He's one of those like long-haired, kind of shaggy-looking dogs. He's a one big mat, and he walked 37 miles to get home to his family. Isn't that sweet?
That's sweet. That is a good story. Good for you. You found
I just wanted a good one,
and it wasn't Florida.
Yes.
We had to go all the way to China to find one, but I know.
Good stories happen in China. Give me another one.
I'm trying it. Why isn't it working? Hello.
All right, we're going to head to North Carolina because the sad stories about people digging up things and kicking down things. This was there was a pumpkin patch that was going on at an elementary school in North Carolina. Okay, they had a fall harvest display that was donated by a pumpkin patch, and then a week later, vandalism, an act of vandalism. And they destroyed all of the pumpkins and tore down all of the displays. And the kids get back to school and they're like sad. They're so sad that some vandals came into their elementary school, Glenn, and destroyed all their hard work. So they're like, damn it, we're going to figure out who did it. And so they get the security cameras and they're like, who are these punk kids who are messing with our fall festival display? Then they saw that there was 11 perpetrators, Glenn. 11 cows that got loose.
I was thinking wolves. I thought you were coming back with something more exotic.
Cattle, Glenn. It's North Carolina. Cattle. Henderson County Public Schools, Public Information Officer Molly McGowan told Blue Ridge Now that they're looking for those vandals. They called them hooved hoodlums. They're looking for those hooved hoodlums, Glenn. So if you have any information leading to the arrest of the 11 cows that destroyed the fall festival display at the Edneyville Elementary School, please let us know. One more. We're going to keep this one short. Hold on. I got to find it again because it disappeared because I found this one and it's not fun if it's not, we don't have, if you're going to make fun of Florida, I have to make fun of Oklahoma.
It's only fair.
And this was sent out on my local Oklahoma app as a notification, like an emergency notification. This is the news that Oklahoma felt like sending a push notification about. Edmond Walmart is closed. The Edmond Walmart is closed. I'm going to read this story word for word. Edmond Walmart closed due to live skunk inside store. An Edmond Walmart is closed due to a live skunk stuck inside the store, according to an employee. The skunk is stuck inside the location at East 15th and Interstate 35, and all in bold print. This is a developing story.
Because it's never been closed in the history of Oklahoma.
I mean, what are people going to do besides between this and then Walmart's closed yesterday? There's going to be people in Oklahoma falling down without having a Walmart. There was never, by the way, another push notification about the Walmart reopening, anything, no follow-up. It was just, this is a developing story.
What's your grocery store chain out there, the main one? What do you have out there?
The main one is, I think, was Super Walmarts and there's a Target in Norman. Homeland.
Okay. Like ours is Publix down here.
Yeah, there's no Publix. There's
Kroger.
no Kroger.
It was Kroger right when we lived in Kentucky.
I think Homeland and Kroger are related because it looks like the same, on the outside. And but I mean, I go to Sprouts or I drive up to Oklahoma City to go to Costco and Trader Joe's. But like you gotta go. Walmart is where you go if you need to run in and get something.
Yeah, it is, and they have everything you're gonna need. It's there. Yeah. And you're gonna need to go to Costco with all those people in your house. You're gonna have to feed them.
It's amazing.
I have one story before we wrap up the show today, and we'll hang around and chat with the auditors for a little bit too. Well, a pair of animal control officers in New Jersey were called out in Montclair Township after multiple calls came in to 911 about a deer who got his head stuck inside a decorative plastic pumpkin. Say that fast. So yes, the deer decided to check out the plastic pumpkin and got its head stuck and was running around town banging into things.
Are you stealing my segment? Is that what I'm getting here?
So they called the animal control people who had to catch the deer with a very large net. Now, I've seen butterfly nets. What size net do you need for a deer? And is it on a big stick with a loop?
Is that called a net anymore? Would that be considered an animal trap?
It said it was captured with a very large net. I guess it was. Wow. So the pumpkin, I'm happy to report, was safely removed from the deer, and he was able to tear away out of the net, and he's free again. So that was the excitement. All kinds of Halloween excitement across the country happening.
Fantastic.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Thank you for bearing with my voice. And also, thank you to all of our sponsors. We appreciate them today. What did you learn?
Well, I just clicked on the most popular Halloween costumes for kids, and I guess I'm a little behind. I don't see Thanos on the list.
I think Thanos was last year or the year before. He's out now.
Well, Harley Quinn, and then we've got Miles Morales, which Lucas wears those pajamas every night to bed. We got Elsa. Is that really the most popular? Turning your baby into a little avocado?
What?
Yeah, look at this stupid list you found. And then you've got Hermione and Boba Fett, the Mandalorian, Wonder Woman, Tiger, Super Mario, Captain Marvel. See, that's the outfit I have.
I can see you turning your baby into Baby Yoda. I imagine there's a lot of Baby Yodas this year.
Is there? They don't even. That's not even on the list, Glenn.
They're by the way, that series is coming out, I think, this week. Second series.
A new Mandalorian.
Yeah. I think it's coming out this week or next.
Well, I guess I better watch the first one.
For everybody that's been listening the whole show, I just checked on Ollie, and you have not been outbid yet. So
I'm still the current high bidder.
You're still at $1,300. Yep.
$1,300.
It has your name right here, Jamie Jennings, talk show
No,
host.
It does not. It does not.
No, it doesn't.
I have a bidder number.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
All right. Ranger Gal.
Find a closing music would help.